Picture this, a world where the Roman Empire, that vast, powerful civilization, never fell. Now, to understand the gravity of this hypothetical scenario, let's rewind to the historical context. The Roman Empire, a behemoth of political, cultural, and military might, was at its peak around the 2nd century AD, stretching from the sandy dunes of Africa to the chilly highlands of Britain. Its decline, however, was as dramatic as its rise. The empire began to falter around the 3rd century, with internal strife, economic instability, and relentless pressure from barbarian invasions. By the 5th century, the Western Roman Empire had collapsed under the weight of these challenges, signaling an end to an era of grandeur and power. But let's pause for a moment and imagine, what if none of this happened? What if the Roman Empire, instead of crumbling into the annals of history, continued to flourish? What if it stood the test of time, its influence and supremacy undiminished? To explore this, we would need to suspend reality and delve into a world of what-ifs. A world where Rome's political machinery continued to govern, its culture kept evolving, and its technological innovation never ceased. Imagine a world where the Roman Empire's economic stability wasn't rocked by inflation or resource shortage. A world where Roman cities continued to grow and their infrastructure kept advancing. Picture a globe where Roman culture didn't just survive, but thrived and spread, influencing regions far beyond its borders. A world where interactions with other civilizations were not marked by conflict, but by mutual exchange of ideas and resources. Consider the long-term consequences. Would the religious landscape of the world be different? Would national identities as we know them exist? Or would we all be identifying as Roman citizens? And then, of course, there's the question of potential outcomes. Could the empire have sustained itself indefinitely, or was decline inevitable? Would continuous growth have led to innovation, or would it have resulted in stagnation? So, what would the world look like if the Roman Empire never fell? Let's dive into the realm of possibilities. First, let's imagine the political landscape of a world where Rome still reigns supreme. In this alternate reality, the Roman Empire, with its military prowess and organizational genius, would have continued to expand, creating a unified Mediterranean region and extending its influence far beyond. This would have resulted in an unparalleled geopolitical entity, stretching from the British Isles to the deserts of Africa and from the Iberian Peninsula to the Middle East. This vast empire wouldn't be a mere patchwork of conquered lands, but a cohesive entity where Roman law, language, and culture permeate every corner. The Pax Romana, or Roman peace, would have extended over centuries, ensuring stability across this immense territory. Imagine the administrative implications. The Roman system of government, originally built for a city-state, was already pushed to its limits managing an empire. In our world where Rome never fell, they would have had to innovate, to evolve, and to adapt. Perhaps they would have developed a more decentralized system, with regional capitals sharing power with Rome. This could have resulted in a kind of federalism, with local autonomy balanced by a strong central authority. The checks and balances, the separation of powers, the rule of law, these principles might have been born not in the Enlightenment, but in the crucible of an enduring Roman Empire. The Roman legal system, with its emphasis on written law and the rights of citizens, might have become even more sophisticated and fair. The concept of innocent until proven guilty, a cornerstone of modern jurisprudence, was already present in Roman law. In our alternate reality, these ideas could have been refined and expanded, creating a legal system that upholds justice and human rights on a global scale. But remember, this is all speculative. We're playing with history, imagining a world that veers off the path we know. It's a fascinating exercise, isn't it? In such a world, the administrative structures we know today might just be a faded memory. What about culture and technology? Would we be more advanced or stuck in the past? In a world where the Roman Empire never fell, its cultural and technological influences would continue to shape our lives today. For starters, the Roman culture, renowned for its literature, art, and philosophy, would likely have seen an unprecedented continuity and expansion. Roman literature, a rich blend of poetry, drama, and philosophy, could have evolved into a globally accepted literary standard. The philosophical ideas of Stoicism and Epicureanism, already deeply influenced by the Greek thought, might have grown even more profound, permeating societies far and wide. The Romans were also known for their architectural prowess. Imagine a world where Roman architectural marvels aren't just relics of the past, but a staple of our cities. We might be dwelling in grand villas or conducting business in expansive forums, surrounded by awe-inspiring arches and aqueducts. But what about technology? Well, the Romans were no strangers to innovation. They gifted the world with advanced engineering concepts, pioneering feats like aqueducts, road systems, and the Julian calendar. In a world where Rome never fell, these technological marvels would have been the foundation for even more groundbreaking innovations. Picture an alternate reality where Roman ingenuity continued to flourish. The Julian calendar, already a significant improvement over its predecessors, might have undergone further refinements. The Roman road systems, a marvel of ancient engineering, could have paved the way for advanced transportation networks. And who knows? Roman advancements in military technology might have led to earlier discoveries in areas like metallurgy, physics, and chemistry. In this alternate timeline, the Roman Empire's continuous reign could have fostered an environment conducive to consistent technological advancements. We might have seen the birth of new inventions centuries before their actual time, accelerating our technological timeline. Just imagine, in this alternate world, we might be using Roman tech right now. Let's not forget about money. After all, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it certainly wasn't cheap. Imagine a world where the Roman Empire, with its vast territories, never fell. The potential for trade and economic stability is staggering. With Roman law and order providing a stable environment, and the Roman road and sea network connecting diverse markets, trade would flourish. From the rich mineral resources of Iberia, the abundant grain of Egypt, to the exotic spices of the East, goods would flow smoothly across the empire. The Roman denarius might well be the world's first truly global currency. This economic stability would also fuel urban development. The Romans were renowned builders, and their cities were marvels of engineering. The city of Rome itself was a testament to this, with its grand palaces, bustling markets, and awe-inspiring Colosseum. But it wasn't just Rome. All across the empire, cities thrived, with aqueducts bringing fresh water, roads connecting them to the wider world, and grand public buildings symbolizing the power and prosperity of Rome. Imagine this urban development continuing unabated. More cities would spring up, each a beacon of Roman civilization, each a hub of commerce and culture. The infrastructure of these cities would continue to evolve. Perhaps we would see the early development of public transportation systems, or advanced waste management systems, or even the beginnings of renewable energy sources, spurred by Roman ingenuity and the wealth of the empire. But it's not just about physical infrastructure. This economic prosperity would also lead to social infrastructure. Schools, libraries, public baths, theaters, all these were integral parts of Roman urban life. In a Rome-dominated world, such amenities would become commonplace, contributing to the overall quality of life and fostering a vibrant, educated, and engaged citizenry. So what's the takeaway? If the Roman Empire never fell, we might be living in a world characterized by economic stability, impressive urban development, and advanced infrastructure. Trade would be the lifeblood of this world, cities its beating heart, and the Roman denarius its common currency. In this Rome-dominated world, economic prosperity might be the order of the day. With Rome still in the picture, the world would undoubtedly be a different place. Imagine a world where Roman culture continued to flourish and expand, reaching corners of the globe far beyond the Mediterranean. Latin, not just a language for scholars in the Vatican, could have become the global lingua franca, the way English is today. The Roman pantheon, with its gods and goddesses, could have been as familiar to us as pop culture icons are now. Roman architecture, with its grandiose expressions of power and beauty, might have been the blueprint for our cities. Picture the Colosseum replicated in every major city, an amphitheater for entertainment and sport, a symbol of civic pride. The Roman baths might have evolved into the modern spa, a place for relaxation and socializing, the heart of every community. In this world where Rome never fell, it would have continued to interact with other civilizations. Trade and alliances would have been formed, wars would have been waged, ideas exchanged. Rome could have borrowed from the East, integrating elements of Chinese, Indian, and Persian cultures into its own. Imagine the Silk Road, a bustling trade route, not just for goods, but for ideas and philosophies. We might see a fusion of Confucian principles with Roman pragmatism, or Buddhist concepts interwoven with Roman law. The Roman Empire, always adaptable, could have absorbed these influences, creating a multicultural society far ahead of its time. Now, consider the spread of Roman law. The principles of justice, equality, and the rule of law could have been the cornerstone of global governance. We might see a world with a unified legal system, where disputes are resolved not by power, but by law and reason. And what about the Roman military? It might have continued to dominate, shaping the world order, influencing geopolitical strategies, and setting the standard for military prowess. In such a world, Roman influence might be as ubiquitous as the air we breathe. So, we've imagined a world where Rome never fell. But what would the long-term consequences be? Let's take a moment to consider the religious developments. The Roman Empire was a melting pot of diverse faiths and beliefs, from the worship of Roman deities like Mars and Jupiter to the rise of monotheistic religions like Christianity. Had Rome never fallen, it's entirely possible that these divergent faiths may have continued to coexist, leading to a more syncretic blend of religious practices. Imagine a world where the Roman pantheon is still revered alongside the teachings of the New Testament, or where Eastern philosophies like Buddhism have found a foothold in the heart of the West. The Roman penchant for adaptation and assimilation could have resulted in a religious landscape that's as diverse and vibrant as the empire itself. Now, let's turn our attention to national identities. In our timeline, the fall of Rome led to the formation of numerous nation-states, each with its own distinct language, culture, and identity. But in a world where Rome never fell, these nation-states might never have come into existence. Instead, we might see a more unified identity, bound together by the common thread of Roman citizenship. Latin could have remained the lingua franca, bridging the gap between diverse cultures and regions. This unified identity could have fostered a sense of global community, much like the cosmopolitan atmosphere of Rome at its height. However, it's equally possible that regional identities would have persisted, with the Roman identity layered on top. Think of it as a patchwork quilt of cultures, each square unique, yet forming part of a larger whole. These regional identities, under the umbrella of Roman citizenship, could have led to a rich tapestry of cultural diversity, much like what we see in modern-day Europe. In this alternate timeline, the religious and national landscapes might be vastly different. This thought experiment gives us a glimpse into a world that could have been, a world that continues to fascinate us centuries after the fall of Rome. Finally, let's ponder the ultimate question. Would the Roman Empire eventually decline, or would it continue to innovate and thrive? First, consider the potential for decline. Even the most powerful empires have their Achilles heel. For Rome, the vast expanse of its territories could have been its downfall. With lands stretching from the sunny coasts of the Mediterranean to the chilly boundaries of northern Europe, managing such a colossal empire would be an administrative nightmare. The sheer diversity of cultures, languages, and traditions could have led to a breakdown in unity, inciting rebellions and internal strife. This, coupled with the constant threat of invasions from the borders, might have pushed the empire to a gradual decline. But what if Rome didn't just survive, but thrived? Innovation could have been the key. Imagine a world where Roman engineers continued to build upon their impressive feats of infrastructure. Aqueducts crisscross the globe, bringing fresh water to the most remote corners of the empire. The Roman road system becomes a global network, facilitating trade and communication like never before. Technological progress could have taken a leap forward, with Rome leading the charge. Yet, there's a thin line between innovation and stagnation. For innovation to flourish, there needs to be a constant influx of fresh ideas and perspectives. In a society dominated by a single culture, this might prove challenging. Would the Roman Empire have been able to keep innovating, or would it have eventually stagnated, trapped in its own grandeur? To balance this, Rome might have been wise to adopt a policy of cultural inclusivity, welcoming new ideas from its diverse subjects. This could have sparked a golden age of innovation, with Rome at its center. In a world where Rome never fell, the only certainty is uncertainty, but one thing's for sure, it would be a fascinating place to live. So there you have it, a glimpse into a world where the Roman Empire never fell. We've traversed the realms of politics and administration, envisioning a unified Mediterranean and beyond under Roman rule. We've delved into the cultural and technological innovations that could have continued to flourish, and the economic stability that might have been achieved. We've contemplated the global influence of Roman culture and their potential interactions with other civilizations. We've considered the long-term consequences, the evolution of religious beliefs, and the formation of national identities. Lastly, we've speculated on potential outcomes, weighing the possibilities of decline against the exciting prospects of continuous innovation. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? But the conversation doesn't have to end here. Feel free to share your thoughts, your theories, your own visions of this alternate reality. Remember, history is not just about the past, but also a lens through which we can imagine the future. Until next time, keep pondering the possibilities.